les strates d'eau.
Oui,
D'abord dedans on a la baranine, on ajoute un tube, la clé, et on a un tube dedans, on ramène dans la caisse à eau.
Sachant que tu as changé cela, mais de l'autre côté c'est...
very close range. They pull vertical damage, they ricochet off. This tank is just about impervious to enemy tank fire. And when it comes to hitting back,
so it wouldn't fare too well against, for instance, the light tanks at the American top. In the rear, we've got a 251, which is an armed personnel carrier. That suggests if they've got access to a 251, so-called hammerback, it's probably Panzer Grenadiers involved here somewhere, because only the Panzer Grenadiers really had access to that kind of transport.
Fellows acting as the fire support for this particular Kampfgruppe. In the rear, the half track, well, I'm now pretty sure that these German troops are, the foot soldiers are Panzer Grenadiers, because only the Panzer Grenadiers had access to this kind of armoured support, this kind of armoured transport. The average Wehrmacht soldier would go to war on his own 2 feet and be supplied from horse-drawn wagons.
One more sophisticated camouflage uniform, standard infantry soldiers would not have had access to that kind of kit. 251 is also mounting MG42 machine guns. These were loaded by Allied troops.
Effect you'll see on the armour is a paste applied to the outside with a view to preventing the use of magnetic mines. The Germans were convinced that the Allies would be rushing up to the tank, slapping a magnetic mine on the side and then taking it out that way. Now, we did actually have magnetic mines, a so-called limpet mine, which would have done the job, but it was never done, it was never attempted. The Russians tried it once and it failed, but throughout the war, the Germans persisted in slapping the Zimmerit on their vehicles. Now, here we can see these Panzer Grenadiers are deploying. The NCO has got an MP40 submachine pistol. We've got, I can see, 4A1 is not going to be able to cope with the King Tiger by itself. The 75mm on that Sherman is not capable of penetrating virtually any of the armour on the King Tiger, but the high velocity 76 on the A2 is capable. So now the dynamic is shifting a little bit. The mortar's still putting out.
We're going to make good of what we've got. Now, we've got the motor mortar firing on the Germans. The Americans are running out suppressing fire. The Americans they were taught in infantry school that a simple mantra: find them, fix them, flank them, finish them. Right? Well, they found them all right, or the Germans found them.
There we are. We do in fact have a Russian heavy machine gun firing from the village there. The 29th attacking through the smoke, flanking the village. Right, 251's taking a hit.
Followed by the Jeep. Incoming border fire. Hello, we've got a hit. Right, the rounds coming down on the village. The Americans street fighting now. Grenades.
Command. Any intelligence use. Now the German vehicles are going to leave the field, mounting the GMC lorry. As a matter of interest, what that lorry is racist or conducting out the field. Basically, it is a lorry quite shaped of, and as we know, Jackson King is quite racist tourist attractions. The Americans produced 500,000 GMC trucks, second only to the Jeep in terms of numbers, and that shows you the power, the economic power. We've mentioned it a couple of times already today, the economic power of the United States, the ability to provide equipment. And now we can see, in tribute to the fact that it is Victory in Europe this year. We've got the flags flying from the... Just imagine how that must have felt. There we go, there's more flags flying. The British flag. These young men invested everything in fighting, not just for their freedom, but for the freedom of people they were never going to meet, places they were never going to go necessarily. But in America, they talk about the great generation.